Greetings, History Day judges. Thank you for joining us this year for our virtual contest. It'll be a little bit different this year if you've done it in the past, but the basics are still the same, minus the fact that you won't be actually interacting with the students. I'm Chris Jama. I'm one of the coordinators for this year's Regional Bitterroot History Day, and I'm just going to go over a couple of hints and tips for judging in case you want to get started before Saturday. But if you have questions between now and then, or you want to wait and do some brainstorming on Saturday, that's fine too. I'm going to do some screen sharing to help you understand what you guys are going to be looking at as judges this year. So we'll do that. And I'm going to show you the evaluation forms. Okay, so if you judged in the past, you might remember, you might not, that it was 60% historical quality, 20% clarity of presentation, and 20% something else, something to do with the theme. Well, they've rejigged it a little bit, so this time it's 80% historical quality, which includes relevance to theme, and then 20% clarity of presentation. So each one of you, depending on which group you're in, you'll get this National History Day evaluation form. And this year we have these handy dandy little check boxes that can help you determine whether or not the entry is superior, excellent, good, fair, or not evident. And we won't read through all of them, but for example, down here for historical accuracy, if it's superior, you'll see historical information is accurate. Excellent historical information includes only minor errors, or historical information includes several errors that impede understanding, or the last little box here, historical information includes major errors that impede understanding. So some real big problems in that one. And then the not evident, I guess maybe if they just made everything up, you could check out that box. So whether you're doing papers or documentaries or performances, you'll have the same things here, same ideas as far as historical quality goes. Here's the part that you'll want to make your notes in, where it says strengths and areas for improvement. So those are the specific details that'll help these kids if they want to then enter their exhibits or papers or whatever into the state competition. So this is where they can improve. But you always want to sandwich that with something that you really liked about it. And then clarity of presentation. So presents written material that is appropriate to the topic and easily understood. You can go through all these, but I think that this will be helpful for us to be more consistent in how we're judging. And then the last section is about paper length and citations and that sort of thing. And then if you want to do general comments, like if you read something and you think, oh, they really should check out this book, or they might want to take a look at this blog that I saw, or this video, you can add that in the general comments and just try to be encouraging. So you're going to be judging a group of, well, the papers will be all the senior category, which is high school, but the junior category is middle school. And so we have entries that are from both juniors and seniors. And since we have so few entries this year, if you're doing something like documentary, you might have one group of juniors that have done an entry, one group of seniors that have done an entry, and then one individual senior who's done an entry. So you'll still be evaluating them in the same way that you would be evaluating in each category, but they won't be competing directly against each other because they'll be slightly different. And I'll make some notes in your actual email so you don't have to worry if that seems a little confusing right now. One thing that I totally goofed up on, if you're judging papers, which we have more papers than anything else, then if you don't have a process paper, it used to be if you were writing a paper, you just had a paper and a bibliography. But now they want a title page, a process paper, and an annotated bibliography. So if you're missing an annotated bibliography on your paper, that's actually my fault because I told the teachers they didn't need one. So make a note, but don't hold it against them too much. And if you have questions about that, you can let me know. So I'm also going to link this to you, which is the summary of significant rule changes. I think the biggest rule change is that Rule 15, process papers are now required in all categories, including papers. So that's where I goofed. But if you do get papers with process papers on it, great. And a process paper, for those of you who haven't done this before, is their little sort of introduction to their project about why they chose what they did and who did what work and why it was hard or not. Back to this guy here. I wrote in the email, but if you want, we can get you paper copies of these if you live in Missoula. Otherwise, you can print these out, or if you have, they're in PDF form. So if you have a Adobe PDF, you can actually fill them in this form. Or if this is all just like a big mess, you can just take notes on a separate piece of paper and then get them to me one way or the other. So I think that's the basics of it. If you haven't judged before, you may be pleasantly surprised by the writing talents or the production talents of some of these kiddos, and utterly shocked by the lack of punctuation, et cetera, for other kiddos. So feel free to be entertained and make notes if you feel like the punctuation and grammar is actually making it difficult to understand, but mostly we want to focus on the historical quality. So with that, I'm going to end the video, but you are welcome to reach out to me with questions. I'll give you guys my cell phone as well, because sometimes I'm working from home. And thank you guys for judging. And I'll see some of you on Saturday. If you want to work together with your partner beforehand, that's fine too. Just give me a little shout out and an email to let me know what your plans are. Thanks all.